What's good, YouTube? Welcome to Pros Only TV. You're here with myself, Roland. Now, before we begin anything, I need everybody to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, share this video with a friend when you're done. Now, Jadon Sancho has finally agreed to join Manchester United. Been confirmed by Manchester United this afternoon, also confirmed by Borussia Dortmund. I mean, come on, man, let's break this down. Now, obviously, he signed, man. £73 million, 90 million euros plus add-ons, makes him the fourth most expensive signing in Manchester United's history. I mean, you can take with that what you will. Now, let me give you a little bit of a backstory to this whole deal, man. So it all started last year. So last year, United had targeted Sancho as the number one signing for Oli for the club. We were talking about Jadon Sancho, number 7, this, that, and the other. United go into the summer transfer window. He's the number one target. They go and try and negotiate with Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund say, you know what? We have a deadline, and our deadline is pre-season. Pre-season, we don't want we don't want any outgoings. We don't want any incomings. We want to just finalize our squad so we can prepare for our season ahead. And United thought that was a negotiating tactic. And when they saw that, they kind of left it, went in there with the bid. Dortmund said, nah, mate, it's too late. At that point, it meant that United had to go and do their little scattergun thing, scrambling around the transfer market to try and salvage their transfer window, bringing in Ahmad, Palestri, Cavani on deadline day, and it just made for a shit end to the transfer window and a shit start to the season for the club. But I mean, you know, we fast forward now to this year. You know, obviously the rumors were still building. They were still building. There was a little talk about Liverpool, a little bit of talk about Chelsea, but I feel like his heart was set on coming to Manchester United. The deal was already agreed with him and his agents and everything like that, so that wasn't a problem. It was all that penny pinching, between United and Dortmund. You know, Edward would doing his thing, and then with that, you know, we all wrapped it up at the end of the day, and like, he's here, man. He's now the signing, and for me, I feel like it's a great signing for the club. It's showing our intent in this summer transfer window, and our intent for what we want for the new season. I mean, you bring in a signing like that, you can see everybody's rattled across the TL. So I mean, with that, like, I can't complain, man. I mean, let's like talk about what does he bring to the team. I mean, like, one thing for him as a person, obviously, you know, leaving the country at 17 to go and search for that first team football. You know, for a 17-year-old kid, that's a lot of responsibility. It's a risk as well to take. But he's gone there because he's got some good people around him, I'm sure. And you know, he went there, and it was a platform for him to play, for him to develop as a player and to prove himself on the European stage, world stage, whatever you want to call it. And then, you know, now having the opportunity to come back as a fully grown man, 21 years old, come back to the UK, be around his friends, his family, back to where he was born, where it all kind of started for him, basically. Yeah, it's only a good thing, and obviously that talks about his mentality, his mentality as a player. Obviously, as I've mentioned, like, leaves at 17 to go and get that first team football, a risk that a lot of people wouldn't take, and you know, an opportunity for him to go in and mature in a new country with a new language and a new culture. He's been able to do that, and he's been able to showcase his talent as well, you know, with the 181 appearances, 74 goals and 75 assists in his time there, you know, coming from their B team into their first team, you know, being the replacement of Ousmane Dembele, who was another highly rated talent that went to Dortmund and then left for Barcelona for a lot of money, you know, coming in to try and fill those shoes, and he's filled them perfectly. I mean, like, to be honest, like, their careers, like, he's shooting up, and you know, Dembele's is kind of shooting down. A lot of injuries, it's unfortunate. But yeah, man, it is what it is. And I mean, like, you know, that mentality is something that we need for the club. You know, somebody that's determined, somebody that doesn't give up, man. He's never say die. Like, he knows what's best for him and what's best for his career, and he's gone and done it. And hopefully this next step for him is going to be the one that's going to really elevate him from that very good player into elite level status. But yeah, man, let's talk about his versatility. So, you know, obviously, he's a multifunctional player in terms of being a forward player, and it brings fluidity in our attack, being for him to be able to play off the left and off the right. Obviously, we all know that our team has been imbalanced for quite some time. We've not really had a player that plays off the right. We're playing players out of position on the right-hand side. We've got somebody who can slot in there now and can do that job. And with that, you know, it brings more balance to the team. our team is very left sided, attacking heavy. Now we because obviously we've been relying on Wan-Bissaka to do a lot of the attacking on the right hand side. Now bringing in Jadon Sancho on that right hand side means there's a bit more of a link up with Wan-Bissaka. It means that it may be a little bit more decisive, a little bit more deliberate on that right hand side in terms of the type of plays, and it's not just freestyle like Wan-Bissaka just going down there whilst the space is being vacated with the player who normally plays on the right, Greenwood, Mata, whoever drifts in. With his versatility and him being able to play off the left and the right, it just adds more options for the coaching staff and for the manager to make the decisions about where everybody should be playing and when and against which team. With that, you know, like people are talking about squad depth and all of that, and where's Rashford going to play, where's Greenwood going to play, doesn't really matter. Like, as long as the manager and the coaching staff can decide on the team that's good enough to go out there and beat the opponents that's in front of them, then it shouldn't really matter, as long as they are able to rotate the team, which was a big criticism of the manager and the coaching staff from last season, where we didn't see our players rotate not nearly enough. Some of our players are in the highest amount of appearances and minutes played in Europe or even the world from last season. So, you know, being able to have that extra option now can just kind of like transform the team in terms of just the rotation aspect of it. And obviously with Sancho, you know, he offers a different dimension in attack. So, you know, that I'm very, very interested in seeing that link up with Martial and Cavani, because those two players in our team are not like some of the other attackers in our team who are mostly reliant on pace and spacing behind. Where in terms of so they can operate, whereas with Jadon Sancho you can see he's one of those type of players that likes to slow the game down, and some of the more quality players can slow the game down and really make things work. And so now that link up with Martial with Cavani, that means that, you know, we can see a lot more patterns of play between the two, a lot more 1-2s around the box. With Cavani makes a lot of intelligent runs off the ball, and with Jadon Sancho, that pinpoint crossing, you could be able to find him at any point. And so, yeah, that different dimension in attack is going to be needed, because we need to also break down those low blocks, especially when teams do set up to play like that at Old Trafford. We could talk about some of his attributes, man. Like, obviously, you know, like he's obviously goals and assists. He's a great passer. But like the dribbling aspect is something that we've been missing as well. We don't have a lot of out and out dribblers in our side. You could talk about Martial, you know, to a certain extent. There's Greenwood when he plays on the right, you know, trying to beat a man because it's his direct to try and get to beat a man, to try and get to the to score a goal or get a chance. When you bringing in Sancho, he's somebody that does that just naturally, you know, with the street football mentality, you know, from just, you know, kicking ball in Kennington blocks and stuff like that. You know, he's somebody that can beat a man with intelligence and beat a man with movement, and that's something we've been lacking in our attacking in an attacking sense for our team. But at the same time, it's just something that we've been missing on the right hand side as well. Somebody that can beat a man with intelligence and movement, can get the ball out of his feet and cross a ball. That's something that he can do. He's also somebody that can come inside and also play a little intelligent 1-2s in and around the box to be able to create openings and create chances for the team. So we've seen that too. And yeah, man, his crossing ability is going to be perfect as well with the option of Cavani up front. And that's something we've also been lacking as well. Somebody that can get to a byline and cross a ball as well, and that's something that he can do, and he'll be doing it a lot more regularly because he's not on that right hand side to be someone that's just solely going for goals. He's a creator at heart, and that's what he's going to offer to the team. Now, there's been a lot of talk about that number 7 shirt. I mean, for me, I feel like the club would be justified in doing it, but I feel like in order to take a lot of pressure off of him internally, we should give him another number. Let Cavani have that for this last season. He leaves, and then Jadon Sancho just walks into that number 7 naturally. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on him in the beginning by giving him that shirt, because he's going to have added pressure anyway because of the fee, his young age, the media and rival fans. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on him in the beginning. By giving him that number 7 shirt, it's another weight on his shoulders that he now has to carry. And for me, I just don't think that that's even really what we want to do with him. So I say give him another number, wait for Cavani to leave, and then give him that number 7 shirt so we can reduce the amount of pressure we're doing on him internally. But just talking about the expectation level and how that ties in with pressure. So, you know, we know the expectation level already because of his fee is going to be high. He's an England international. He's played for Dortmund, played in the Champions League. So people are expecting him to come here and hit the ground running. It doesn't help that you've got other players that have done that at our club, like Bruno, that even our own fans are saying, look what Bruno has done, and then start comparing each other. Like, no, that shouldn't happen. Like, we have to forget, we shouldn't forget that he left here at 17, big step, went to go and play in Germany, done well in Germany. This is now the next step in his career. He's coming back into the UK, has to acclimatise to the style of football here, and with that, it means that he's gonna need a bit of time to just adapt, and we need to be able to offer that to him. And I feel like that should be happening internally, keeping him under wraps, keeping the pressure low. Don't put a lot of expectation. And I'm talking to the United supporters more than anything, because you know how it is. If they don't perform, people start talking shit. So I mean, we need to give him a bit more time, let him acclimatise and adapt, and then he's gonna. I know for a fact that he's gonna go into this effortlessly, because he's got a great mentality. So I mean, with that, we just need to wait, hold off, and let him do his thing. Watch when he does his thing, he's gonna explode. So I mean, that's the expectation level. Like, the expectation level is gonna be high. He can reach that expectation level. He's gonna be fine. But in the end, I think he's gonna explode anyway. So let's just give him a little bit of time to adapt and watch what he does. Now, I mean, that's really everything about the Jadon Sancho transfer. But we need to talk about United's movement in this summer transfer window. They've been doing their work quickly, and it's like, this first deal has been done pretty much at the end of June. United generally don't work that quickly, especially a big deal like this. It usually gets announced maybe just before the season. We've seen that in other deals as well. That's been announced before. They take a bit of time, and it's just a long, drawn out process. Obviously, this has been drawn out a lot as well. It's been a year, but they've got it done now. Now, I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if that speaks to Murtough's influence, because obviously Murtough has come in as that first technical director of football, whatever you want to call it, and you don't know if that's his influence, if he's the guy that's making the decisive decision and saying, look, this is who we want, let's just go out and do it, and he's kind of calling the shots. A lot of people were saying that he's a yes man and he's an Uber driver and all this nonsense, but like, his influence on this deal probably is why it's happened so quickly. And obviously with that, there's obviously several links to other players, and obviously we can talk about Raphael Varane. There's been some news broke this morning, and it's been confirmed by other sources as well, where United are basically in for Raphael Varane. And obviously there's a lot of other discussions happening with PSG, with Real Madrid, because he might stay. You never know what could happen there with Varane, where Ramos has just left and looks like he's going to PSG. PSG have put an offer on the table, or it looks like they're discussing something. He could also stay at Real Madrid and get that new contract, because they freed up space with Ramos leaving to give him that final elusive contract, that he will need now to take him right through to the end of his career, basically, at Real Madrid. So that's something that we need to just kind of take with a pinch of salt right now. There's a lot of rumours flying around, and people trying to gain some credibility around that transfer. So we have to wait and see on that. But in terms of what I've said in the previous video, is that that's somebody who we need to get, because he's got the mentality, the winning mentality that we may need in our side, that I feel that we're lacking. Somebody who's a multiple Champions League winner, a La Liga winner, a World Cup winner, now next having a partnership with Harry Maguire, who he's been doing decent, and obviously this Harry Maguire is new to this elite level of football, so having somebody who's already elite in that and is in his prime, that you can now like hang your hat on him and say, yeah, I trust this guy with everything on the pitch, is only going to be a good thing. I know a lot of people are talking about Harry Maguire and 4 relegations, and he's not won any trophies and this, that and the other. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. He is at the club now, and it is where it is. He's performed decent, not to the level that we would have expected for the price tag, but he's performed decently well. You bring Varane in, that now elevates the team to another level alongside the Jadon Sancho, and it kind of starts building the picture of saying, look, there's no more excuses here. You've got the players now, go out there and get the silverware, challenge for the title and all of these things. And obviously on Sunday there was some news broken about Camavinga joining the club, or there's been discussions with his representatives about joining the club. Now you bring him in. That's a defensive midfielder. Now imagine this, yeah, the Camavinga in defensive midfield, Pogba, Bruno. Like, imagine that midfield, man. Now it becomes a lot more balanced. We don't get to see the McFred thing anymore, and you basically completed the summer transfer window. We don't need a right back because we've already got one, and there's another one on loan, and then there's another promising youngster who could probably overtake both of them in a couple of years' time or 3 years' time. So I mean, yeah, I mean, when I look at Camavinga, Sancho, and Varane window, I think it's a 7.5 out of 10. But what do you think is going to be? Put that in the comments below. What is that out of 10? But yeah, when we look at that as a summer transfer window, we can say if United can get it done, they've done very, very well, and the quickness of it is also the most important thing. Where we can say, oh, okay, now we can sit back and say, all right, you're acting like a big club. We don't know if that was their intention going into this summer, or if was it because of the backlash from the Super League, people jumping onto the pitch and doing their thing on the protest day, the Glazers after the fan forum and them making the promises saying that how they want to spend money because it was on that list of 10 things that they wanted to do better at the club. So I mean, there's all these things that we have to take into account. But I mean, I'm just going to wrap it up here, man. I feel like Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, I'm happy it's been done. Don't put too much pressure on the guy. He's going to come in, and I know for a fact, you can clip it right now, he's going to succeed at Manchester United regardless. Like, he's not going to flop. You can clip that right now because I'm saying it. But I'm very happy that he signed for the club. Let's go out there and get Varane. Let's go and get Camavinga. And then that's the summer done. And I'm telling you, that just elevates our team to another level. But yeah, this is me, man. Pros Only TV. Myself, Roland. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.